Welcome to another episode of Game Boy Roulette, where we take a look at randomly chosen games from the Game Boy library. The Empire Strikes Back. Hoo boy, prepare for a rant. Star Wars has come up a couple times on Game Boy Roulette. We've looked at Super Return of the Jedi, which was a perfectly acceptable, if not amazing platformer, and Yoda Stories, which remains #1 on my list of worst Game Boy Roulette games ever. But that's kind of to be expected with Star Wars games. There were so many of them that the quality was going to be all over the place. In general, Star Wars thrived when it was in more of an action-oriented game, as you would expect. Yes, Star Wars was about way more than action, but come on, which interests you more? The chance to slice some baddies in half with a lightsaber, or Star Wars chess? But as we go into Empire Strikes Back, made by NMS Software as a port of the NES release from 1992, I do feel the need to disclose something. I kinda hate Star Wars now. I did get a chance to talk about this during the Yoda Stories review, but I felt that Rise of Skywalker was so awful that it kinda tainted the whole franchise for me. I can't even look at the original stuff without thinking about where it would end up. But as an objective reviewer, I will put my personal bias aside and judge The Empire Strikes Back entirely by its own merits. After all, it's not like the Game Boy ever waited to release major plot developments as a Fortnite exclusive, or set up a fascinating character who ends up doing absolutely nothing for 3 movies. Sorry. The box art goes with one of the most iconic scenes in franchise history, the Battle of Hoth. The AT-ATs blasting at the snow scrapers, flying in low to take them out. Look, I have my issues with the franchise, but Star Wars has always known how to do big, iconic set pieces right. It's time for another trip to a galaxy far, far away. Make the jump to lightspeed for The Empire Strikes Back. Star Wars is now owned by way more companies than are listed here. Like, way more. And I think Capcom only published, didn't develop. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, The Empire Strikes Back. Ooh, we have the full, scrolling text. It's not at an angle, though, so I refuse to listen. What? There we go. The Empire Strikes Back. Star Wars. Oh, what? Okay. We're just there, huh? Oh, the sprites look alright. Oh, what? Oh, hey, it's the Cantina theme. Sensors show a meteor has landed near you. Go check it out. Okay. Oh, that's not a meteor. Ooh, the jump, when there's an enemy on screen, the jumping is kind of weird. Oh, what the? It's doing that thing again. This is just like a Bug's Life. You jump, you stop all your momentum like a half second before you hit the ground. That's so weird. So I'm pretty sure this is similar to how the NES version goes. Alright, let's see if we can figure out what the heck we're supposed to do. Can I get on it? I can. I'm sure this creature has some sort of weird Star Wars name, like a Wumpus Blumpus or whatever. Everything in Star Wars has a name like that. What? Luke, the lightsaber is the weapon of a Jedi. Yes? I'm actually quite aware of that, believe it or not. Here we go. Oh god, the jumping as Luke is even worse. Also, I think Luke forgot his lightsaber. Oh, I'm shooting downwards. That damages me? I know I use this word a lot, but it's very awkward to play right now. Like, the jumping is a little janky. What even is this? Is this a power-up? How do I... Shoots force power. Sorry, you don't have any. Well, shoot. Where's my lightsaber? They interrupted the game to tell me about the lightsaber and I don't have it? Okay, let's just keep going down until we find something. Oh. Okay. And then, just like the movies, Luke Skywalker drowned. Is this whole area just gonna be a big, annoying maze? Because let me tell you, starting your game off with a big, annoying maze, never a good idea. You know what? I want to check the guide. Give me a sec. So, unfortunately, this is the guide to the first level. It's, yeah, it's a big maze. That's just unfortunate. Looking into it, it looks like future levels do mix up the gameplay a little bit, and that's nice. I do like when games do that, so the game does earn some points for that. But man, again, we've run into this a lot recently of games just starting off on the wrong foot. The music is also getting a little repetitive. Oh, that's interesting. Luke auto-aimed. Okay, this game does do a couple things right. Auto-aim is something that was pretty rare back in the day. There it is. Oh, God. Sorry. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. The game does do some stuff right, but man, it's doing a lot wrong, too. Rather than starting with some action or some basic levels and then moving on, they're starting with what feels like the most complex level. It honestly wouldn't be that bad. Shut up! It wouldn't be that bad. If not for the fact that, it just really does not control well. So yeah, I guess you have to, like, unlock your force powers and all that. I can't get too outraged at that because that's a very common thing in gaming. Oh, is that a lightsaber? Did I get it? What? How do I... What did I pick up? Let me do something. Back to the guide. I guess you only get the lightsaber in certain levels, which is very annoying. Again, there is stuff this game is doing right that I'm like, okay, this isn't bad. But there's also a lot that this game is just not doing well. And yes, I guess if they want to try to stick closer to Star Wars canon for God knows what reason, they, you know, he has his lightsaber at certain points, he gets powers later. But for the people who want to play this game, you kind of just want to live the Star Wars power fantasy, I would think. Like, it says a lot that I'm still on the first stage and I feel like I've made zero progress. Oh, cool. We found a place to go. Wait, isn't this where we were last time? Oh, this place is a loop. If the game controlled better, I would definitely be interested in looking around and finding stuff. But, like, we've barely cracked the surface of the game, and I just have no interest in going any deeper. It's, And again, I am putting my bias against Star Wars aside. The jumping is awkward, the controls are not great. Oh, God. The lack of powers is very annoying. Just a lot of stuff you don't want to see in a platformer. Star Wars, if there's one thing it can do well, it's become video games, and in this case, they couldn't do that. See, I told you Star Wars has always been bad. Okay, that was a bit of an overreach. I actually have a bunch of things to talk about with this game, but I think it's important to start with the bad. And unfortunately, there is a lot of it because this just really isn't that good of a game. Starting your game off with a big, confusing maze is always a risky play, but coupled with bad movement and jumping controls and very repetitive scenery, it made for an underwhelming, unfun experience. And while this isn't the biggest issue, the music being a single loop really didn't help. There's just a lot wrong with this game. But all of that said, I have to admit, there are a few things that I think this game has going for it. The sprite work is nice, and although repetitive, the graphics on the level are pretty good too. But more importantly, while the game doesn't control well, I have played far, far worse. I feel like with enough practice, I could actually get used to the controls on this one. Plus, the game is relatively short, only a few stages, and does mix the gameplay up later with some shoot-'em-up levels, which is always welcome. It's not the kind of game I would continue playing, but it's also not the kind of game that I would throw away in disgust either. So yes, this is a bad game, but I can't bring myself to be outraged by it, because even with all of its flaws, I could see people enjoying it despite itself, especially if you're a big Star Wars fan and you're prepared to overlook some glaring flaws. It's a bad game, but it's one that I think can still be enjoyed, certainly more than other bad games. And hey, still better than Rise of Skywalker. This time, I'm not going to apologize. And that's all for another episode of Game Boy Roulette. Make sure to like the video, comment, and subscribe to follow the series as we continue to dig through the Game Boy vault. I'm TheBrianJ, and I'll see you next time.